Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing all fine. Today I want to show you how you can create awesome double exposure photos inside of Photoshop. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Because you don't know who you're gonna be, who you're gonna be, who you're
As you can see, we are inside Photoshop now. I have here one picture of a friend of mine, and right over here I have a picture which I think works perfectly with double exposure. So first of all, we have to combine these two pictures with each other. Therefore, we select our move tool by pressing V, then we can just drag and drop this image onto the other one. Here we go. The next thing we have to do is unlock the background layer by double clicking on the background layer, pressing OK. Now we can use this layer like any other layer. So what do we want to achieve? We want to make a double exposure image. And we're gonna use masks. But first of all, I want to set her free, so I want to remove the background from her as well. We can do this with masks too. Therefore, I'm gonna click on the selection tool and then on select subject. And what that does is that Photoshop automatically makes a selection of our subject. We zoom in a little bit by pressing Alt and using the mouse wheel, and then we can deselect this part of the image. Perfect. How do we create a mask now? We press on the mask symbol right at the bottom corner right here. And what it does, Photoshop automatically paints everything inside the selection white and everything outside the selection black. Now I think it's a great time to kind of like explain a little bit more what masks do. Imagine these two pictures on top of each other. So this picture on top of this picture. And with a mask we can tell Photoshop what we want to see from which picture. Imagine it like kind of like cutting a hole or punching a hole in the image. If I punch a hole into this image, then you're gonna see the image what's beneath this one. And that's exactly what a mask does. A mask, if you paint the mask black, then it shows the image beneath, and everything that is white is the image selected. So in this case, the subject here is painted white in the mask and the background is painted black in the mask, and therefore we can see the background right here. We can move this layer to the bottom, then we see the top image. We can kind of like control click on the mask to make a selection, click the top layer, click on the mask symbol, and now we have kind of like the shape of her head in this image, because we had a selection. We made the selection of her, of the subject, and then we made a mask out of it. So it kind of like deletes or hides everything that's painted black, in this case everything here around her, and painted white everything we want to see right now. You might wonder, why are there kind of like these gray and white squares? Well, the top layer has a mask which only shows this part and not the background. And the layer beneath as well. So it's kind of like two holes in two images, so you can see through and then you would see the third image. Well, we don't have a third image here. We can create one making a solid color. Choose whatever color you like. And if you drag and drop it to the bottom of it, on the bottom layer, then you would see that you can see through all these images down to the lowest layer. Now if you want to do a double exposure image, most of the time you want to have details from both images. So how can we get detail from the image beneath it? Just draw on the mask. We select the mask, we press B to select our brush tool. By pressing Alt and moving the mouse to the left and to the right, you can change the size of the brush. Moving up or down, you can change the hardness of the brush. So we have the mask selected of our top layer, and then we can paint back some details from the layer beneath it. We are choosing a flow rate that it's kind of like around 20%. What the flow actually does is it restricts how much paint is letting onto the image with each stroke. So in this case, if I make 100% and I paint, then you can see like opacity of 100%. But if I choose a flow rate of about 20%, I kind of like have to brush 5 times over the same area to achieve the same result. So kind of like you have a little bit more fine adjustments to your image or what you want to do. So now you can paint in some details if you like, maybe something in the hair a little bit, or maybe in clothes, so as you like, and it's totally up to you how you want to have this image. Well, for the image I created, I only used the shape of her head from her image, and the rest of it is all the image of the trees. So I'm gonna show you how I did that. Just move a little bit back, like here. So how did I do that? Well, first of all, we need more copies of the trees. I hold Alt key pressed and then I can drag it to the top, and once again, so I made 2 copies of it. Then I'm gonna delete the layer mask from the top ones because I don't need them. Now is a good point to maybe name your layers. I'm gonna name this one a top forest and this one a bottom forest. And this one is her head. So I want the top forest to be upside down. So I press Ctrl T to transform, right click, flip horizontally. And the bottom forest is perfect as it is. But I want to show parts of the top forest and I want to show parts of the bottom forest. So how can I do that? Well, simply applying a mask to the top forest. Applying a mask to the top forest works the same as with everything else. I select the layer, I press on the mask symbol, and then I have a white mask here. Pressing B to select my brush, make sure the foreground color is black, and then I can brush in some information. Maybe increase the flow rate so I don't have to brush that much. Here we go. Now is a perfect time. Maybe move the top forest a little bit up. Select V for the move tool, move it a little bit up. Select the bottom forest, move it a little bit down. And we can't see our head now because the bottom forest has no mask in it, but we can simply move the head to the top. There you go, and it almost looks like the image I showed you in the beginning of the video. Well, I like how the contours of her face are in the forest, but I want to make it a little bit more clear because here is white and the forest ends right here, and I want to move it a little bit up. We can do that by unlocking the mask to the image by pressing these chains. I can click on the mask and then I can move the mask up or down. Maybe just select this one so I can see what's happening. Yes, this looks great. Then I press the chain again and then I can move it together. Something like that. Yes, perfect. In the middle. Yes. Now I can move the top forest a little bit up. I can move the bottom forest a little bit up. Right here. And I like how her head is disappearing in the white places or in a white space in between. I don't like how you can see the contours here as well. So I'm gonna select the head, select the mask, press B to select the brush tool. And then I can paint these parts here black, make sure the foreground color is black, zoom a little bit in, decrease the flow rate to have better or finer adjustments, and then I brushed it away. And now kind of like the images is a little bit right here, and now kind of like the images flow more nicely into each other. Yes. And that's a quick tutorial how you create an awesome double exposure image. Remember, use masks to show what's beneath the layer the mask is on. In this case, I have the head layer, there's a mask on it. A mask, everything that's painted white shows the layer itself, everything that's painted black shows the layer beneath. Here as well on the top forest, white shows what's on the top forest, this one, and everything black shows what's underneath. Underneath is this layer, and so forth. Now you know how to create awesome double exposure images inside of Photoshop. I hope you enjoyed watching, I hope you liked it. If you liked the video, consider subscribing, and I see you in the next one. Bye!